Welcome to Zaption Tour 9-4, Factoring to Solve Quadratic Equations. There are 6 boxes, and let's get in with box number 1 here, called the zero product property. So I just want you to answer these questions that I'm going to give you. I have questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I just want you to answer them as if you were really just being asked them. Okay? So, number 1, if I asked you what 7 times 0 is, what would you say the answer is? Yep, the answer is just 0, so no trick question there. Okay, number 2, what's 0 times 9? Yep, again, 0. 0 times any number is definitely 0, okay? So how about negative 3 times 0? What would that one be? Yep, 0 again, definitely true. Okay, number 4, I'm going to ask you a different question though. What if I told you that 2 numbers multiplied to 0, what could you tell me about at least one of those 2 numbers? Okay, so hopefully you're on the right track here. The zero product property demonstrates just what we just talked about right now. It says this, that if you know that A times B is equal to 0, then you definitely know that either A has to be 0 or B has to be 0. One of the two has to be 0. If the product of 2 things is 0, well, that must mean that one of the 2 things is a 0. That is the zero product property, and it's going to play a huge role in this lesson today. Okay, box number 2, let's talk about how the zero product property works. So if we know that 2 numbers multiply together and they equal 0, then we can infer that one of the 2 numbers has to be 0. So this statement right here says that since x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 5 is equal to 0, it must be true that either x plus 3 is going to be 0, or it must be true that x minus 5 is going to be a 0. So therefore, x has to be a negative 3 when we solve for this, or x has to be a 5 when we solve for this one. Take a look at the right-hand side over here. Okay, 2x plus 1 times 3x minus 4, same kind of thing. This binomial times that binomial is equal to 0, so the zero product property says it must be true that either 2x plus 1 is 0, or 3x minus 4 is equal to 0, and you solve each one individually. This says that 2x would be equal to negative 1, so xb would be negative a half, and this says that 3x would be equal to 4, so x would be equal to 4/3. So this is how the zero product property works, but it only works if there is a 0 on the other side of the equation. Okay, box number 3 is a you try. Go ahead and solve using the zero product property. So hopefully you got it right, but if not, here's the solution. The zero product property says that either 7n minus 2 is equal to 0, which means that 7n is equal to 2 and n is equal to 2/7, or 5n minus 4 is equal to 0, so 5n is equal to 4, and n is equal to 4/5. So your 2 solutions would be 2/7 and 4/5. Box number 4, we're going to solve this quadratic by factoring and using the zero product property. This is a diamond problem method, so 15 goes here, 8 goes here, probably 3 and 5 work because 3 times 5 is 15 and 3 plus 5 is 8. So therefore we get this, we get x plus 3 times x plus 5 is now equal to 0. Using the zero product property, we can see that x plus 3 is equal to 0 or x plus 5 is equal to 0. So therefore x would have to be a negative 3 or x would have to be a negative 5. Box number 5, we're going to solve this quadratic by factoring. So first let's rewrite it in standard form. So how about 4x squared minus 21x minus 18 is worth 0. Then I'm going to multiply the first term by the last term and get x squared minus 21x minus 72. And then from here I solve the little diamond problem. I get negative 72 and a negative 21, and I believe it's negative 24 and 3 is what makes this problem work. So this is what tells me how to split that middle term back up. So I'm going to have this. I'm going to have 4x squared minus 24x plus 3x minus 18 equals 0. And we're going to go ahead and factor by grouping then. And this is going to give me 4x, which is going to be x minus 6, and then a positive 3, which gives me x minus 6, and all that's still equal to 0. So therefore, I see that 4x plus 3 or x minus 6 is all now equal to 0. So therefore, the zero product property says that either 4x plus 3 is equal to 0 or x minus 6 is equal to 0. This tells me that x could be negative 3/4 or x could be positive 6. So that was a pretty long problem about how to put all these things together, solving a quadratic by factoring. So make sure you copy that part down. Okay, box number 6 is a you try, the final box of the lesson. Go ahead and solve the quadratic equation by factoring. Refer back to box 5 if you need help. Hopefully you got the right answer, but if not, here's how you do it. The first thing that I did was I multiplied the 2 by the 18 and got 36. And then from there, I wrote down x squared minus 15x plus 36. Solved the diamond problem with the 36 and the negative 15. And that gave me negative 3 and negative 12 as my solution. So then I rewrote the problem by splitting the middle term up into 2x squared minus 3x minus 12x minus 18. I then factored the GCF out of each term, and that gave me x minus 6 times 2x minus 3 equals 0. So therefore x was equal to 6, or x is equal to negative 3/2.